Level for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. We're back with another massive show to bring you guys today. But before we jump into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 500 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please also make sure to subscribe to the channel. Right, let's get straight on into it then. And let's start the show off with some positivity. But before we do that, as always, I like to try and make the shows interactive, and I have a question to ask you this morning. The question is about Marcus Rashford. Should Manchester United look to move on Marcus Rashford in the next transfer window? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll be giving you a bit more context on this question in a couple of minutes' time in relation to a news story that broke last night, but I want to get your thoughts before I give you the context. Let me know let me know where you're at with Marcus Rashford. I thought he played really well against Brentford on the weekend, but I want to get your thoughts. But before we do that, let's start the show off with some positivity, and that's about Leny Yoro. We can confirm, I've seen the pictures, they're on the Manchester United website. Leny Yoro is back on the grass, he's back in the gym, and he is making his way back to first team football. Now, just to be very, very clear, he's not taking part in full training yet, but he is doing individual training. But he is on the grass, he's got his boots on, he's got a football. Like, it's the next step before he's reintegrated into the group and then he starts getting picked again, which is absolutely amazing. And I think it's come at the perfect time. Obviously, we know that Harry Maguire's injured. We know that we've got major troubles at left back and right back with Luke Shaw and Malacia disappearing off the face of the earth again. And Martinez, obviously, against Brentford, filled in at left back. And I thought he did quite well. So this now makes you think, although Johnny Evans has done really, really well, and I like Johnny Evans, I think he's a quality professional. Knowing that we've got Leny Yoro about to come through, imagine if we have Leny Yoro and Martinez, or you have Leny Yoro and De Ligt. Like, that's a massive step up from what we have at the moment. Don't get me wrong, Evans is a good player. He's a legend of Manchester United. He's won, he won it all with Manchester United, but that was like 15 years ago, wasn't it? Or 10 years ago. So yeah, I think, Leny Yoro coming back is a massive boost. Obviously, he was a massive signing for us in the summer. We paid, 50 million euros for him? Something like that. He was one of our big name signings, and he hasn't played a minute of football this season, obviously because of that injury he got in the pre-season tour. So yeah, really, really happy to see Leny Yoro back on the grass. In relation to when he'll be back actually playing games, the current timeline, if you like, is apparently around mid-November. So probably will be after the next international break, which is, I think, mid-November, yeah. Let me just double check. Yeah, that's right. So the next international break is on the 14th of November. Apparently he should be back, in time for the next, after the next international break, if that makes sense. So let me just have a little look. Ooh. Oh, there we go. I've got the sneeze coming. Let's have a little look at the fixtures to see when Leny Yoro will be back. So he's obviously going to miss the next kind of 5 or 6 games. So our next 5 or 6 games is Fenerbahce, West Ham, Leicester, Chelsea, PAOK, and then Leicester again. So I reckon a realistic game to aim to have him back would be Ipswich Town, which is on the 24th of November, away from home. And then you play Bodo Glimt on the 28th. It'll be that run of fixtures where we've got Ipswich, then we've got Bodo Glimt, then we've got Everton. So somewhere around there, we should see Leny Yoro back. And yeah, I'm happy. I mean, it's obviously disappointing, but he is only 18 years of age. And the key thing with things like this is you don't want to rush someone back at that age. You don't want them to come back and then the injury to come back again in a couple of games' time. Like, we need to make sure he's 100% fit, 100% able to, play for a long period of time. So Leny Yoro, very, very close to returning, which is really, really good. Let's move on from that as well, and let's talk about Harry Amas. So some more positivity for you this morning. There's been so many people in my chat over the last year probably saying, like, why is Harry Amas not playing? What's going on? Erik ten Hag doesn't know what he's doing. And my response has always been quite composed. I'm not sure if composed is the right word. What's the right word? Quite diplomatic, let's say that. And I trust Erik ten Hag. I trust his team to know when the best time to bring a player through is, Like, it's easy for us to sit at home and say, I want Harry Amas, when we've probably only seen him play football for like 10 minutes in our whole lives. You've got to remember that Erik ten Hag and his coaches work with these players every single day. and they know when the player's ready or not. But the point that I'm bringing to you now is apparently Harry Amas will be in the squad for the game against Fenerbahce on Thursday. So this has just been reported by multiple different people saying that Harry Amas will be on the bench for the game against Fenerbahce on Thursday. He is highly rated among the youth setup. So that's really, really good to see. Although, to be fair, I do think Martinez did quite well at left back against Brentford. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what Harry Amas can do. But remember, he is only 17. Like, what were you doing at 17? I mean, that's mad to think, isn't it? That at 17 years of age, he's going to be going and playing against Fenerbahce in a European competition. How many minutes he'll get, we don't know at this point, but he is going to be on the bench. He will be available. I don't think he's going to start. That's not what the story's saying, but he will be in the squad and he will apparently get some minutes. So hopefully that happens. Really, really happy for him. It just shows that if you work hard, your time will come. And this is now apparently Harry Amas's opportunity. And maybe then that means he'll be in the squad for the Premier League games as well. Because to be honest, I don't understand why we'd have two goalkeepers on the bench. You know, we have Tom Heaton and Bayindir on the bench. Like, why? It's completely pointless. You may as well give Harry Amas some game time. But then at the same time, to completely argue with myself, I do understand it actually, because if Harry Amas just sits on the bench all season, right, that means he won't play for the under-21s, because obviously they can't do both at the same time. So that's probably why they've probably thought about it and said, let's give him as much minutes as possible in the under-21s. And when we think he's actually going to get some game time, we'll bring him into the squad, because otherwise you're effectively sacrificing his development for him to just sit on the bench, you know? And I don't think that's actually that beneficial for a young player. Just because he's in the squad doesn't mean that he's actually developing, I don't think. So, yeah, it's baby steps. It's the same with Toby Collier, isn't it? You know, a lot of people said, why is Toby Collier not playing? He's better than Casemiro, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, like, Toby Collier is a 20-year-old who's played probably, 100 minutes of first-team football for Manchester United, and Casemiro is a 5 times Champions League winner. Players like Toby Collier need to be brought through slowly. Obviously, Kobe Mainoo's an exception because he's a generational talent. But let's be honest, like, Toby Collier isn't a generational talent, I don't think. At best, I think he'll probably be a squad player for Manchester United. Harry Amas, I'm not sure about, because I haven't seen enough of him to kind of form an opinion yet. So I'm not going to kind of comment on whether I think he's just a squad player or a generational talent at this point, because I think it's maybe a little bit too soon to be making that kind of judgment. But for me, you can kind of tell, can't you? Like, Kobe Mainoo is a generational talent. He's 18 or is he 19 now? He's 19 and he's, you know, playing in a Euros final for England. Like, a squad player doesn't do that. Like, you have to be at a certain level to kind of reach that. Whereas if you look at Toby Collier, like, I think he's still playing is he playing for the England under-21s, I think? He might not even be. He's not even playing for the under-21s for England, Toby Collier. He's playing in the under-17s at the moment. So, yeah, it kind of shows you the levels, doesn't it? But, yeah, really, really happy about that. Good that youth is getting some opportunity, and good that, obviously, Leny Yoro is back, and it's good that Harry Amas is going to start getting some opportunities. Remember, it will just be little bits. He's not going to be starting every single game for Man United. Like, that's not realistic. It might be 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So, yeah, we'll see how it all gets on. But let's move on from that and let's talk a little bit about Marcus Rashford. Obviously, earlier on in the video, I asked you to get in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on Rashford. If you haven't done that yet, pause the video, go and do that right now. Let me know, should Manchester United look to sell Marcus Rashford? So, let's give you the news that's coming out this morning. So this is coming out from multiple different people. It's coming out from German media, English media, all sorts. And the general headline is this, that apparently Bayern Munich and PSG are battling to sign Marcus Rashford. Now, Marcus Rashford's 27. Would I sell Marcus Rashford? My stance on Marcus Rashford has always been the same. I think he's a quality player on his day. Against Brentford on Saturday, he was quality, I thought. Amazing assist for Garnacho. He worked hard throughout that game. He tracked back. I have no problems with Marcus Rashford when he does that. And I think he's a great player to have in the squad when he's in that mood. But the problem I have with him is a lot of the time he's not in that mood. A lot of the time he doesn't track back. His head drops. His mood can change quite quickly. Is that something that can be coached out of him? I'm not sure. I mean, he's 26, nearly 27. maybe it can. Maybe it is something that could be coached out of him. But he has always been the type of player who's blown hot and cold. When he's on fire, he's one of the best in the world. And when he's not, it doesn't really work effectively. It doesn't work because his work rate at some points is questionable. His tracking back is not pressing people, whatever it might be. And you can't justify a player who has moments of magic if their moments of magic come once in 10 games, if that makes sense. If a player is creating a moment of magic every single game, like a Messi or a Ronaldo, I mean, Ronaldo's a prime example. Ronaldo is one of the best, if not the best players in world football. Him and Messi, there's always that argument. And Erik ten Hag got rid of him because he wouldn't press, even though Ronaldo scored, I think, 20 goals in that season for Manchester United. So you can't have it one way for Ronaldo and another way for Rashford, if that makes sense. Like, you can't justify keeping a player in the squad if they're not creating moments of magic regularly. And Ronaldo arguably was creating moments of magic very regularly for Manchester United, a lot more than Rashford has in this season and last season. So it's a difficult one. Would I sell him? I mean, if a big enough bid came in, of course I would sell him. I don't think any player in this Manchester United squad at the moment, bar maybe Kobe Mainoo, is kind of worthless, if that makes sense. Not worthless. What's the right? Yeah, worthless. I.e., like, you wouldn't accept any amount of money for him. Whereas I think Rashford, if Bayern Munich would come along and say here's £80 million for Rashford, I think you would have to take it, wouldn't you? Especially when you look at the profit and sustainability rules and the fact that it would be 100% profit and he's come through the academy. We've never paid a transfer fee. So I'm not the kind of person who's like going to start an agenda screaming that Rashford should be sold and calling him names and stuff. I think he's a good player. I like him, but I think if the right offer came in from a Bayern Munich or PSG, I think you would have to. I think you would have to strongly consider it, to be honest. Just all things considered. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how this kind of progresses in the next couple of windows. Rashford has just signed a new deal, so I don't really see how this will be an urgent kind of deal that needed to be done. I think his contract is until, I think it's for like 3 or 4 years, so he's got quite a long time left on his current deal. So it's not like he's going to be sold. Let's have a look. 2028. Yeah, there's a long time, 4 years. And he turns 27 next week. Current market value around 60 to 80 million. That's what's being reported today. It'd be interesting to see how it progresses. It will, because I could imagine him going to Bayern Munich and absolutely tearing it up, to be honest. The same with PSG. I think in the German league or in the French league, he would be absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully he just kicks on this season and continues to show us what he can do, because we know on his day he's a quality player. That's never been the question. It's been, why is he so inconsistent? Why does he not work hard enough? Those have been the criticisms levelled by Manchester United fans. It's never been, is he a good player? He is a good player. He's just not a good player often enough. He can do it. He just doesn't do it enough. That's been the criticism, which I don't know. I don't know how you solve that. Maybe he's just one of those players who 1 in 10 games he's world class and the other 9 in 10 he's not. I don't know. But yeah, be interested to get you guys' opinions on Marcus Rashford. And obviously with PSG and Bayern Munich apparently looking to bring him in. Let's see what people were saying in the chat this morning then, shall we? Al says, do you think Erik ten Hag is here for the entire season? What does he have to do to get fired? I would much rather Erik ten Hag stays for the season and then Ineos have a whole year to properly review the club. Remember, Omar Barada and Dan Ashworth have only been in job for like 6 to 8 weeks. So for them to make a judgment when they've only just started a new job would be a little bit, not stupid, but a little bit rushed, I think. So I would have no issue with Erik ten Hag staying until the summer. I want him to succeed. Will he succeed? I don't know. The main candidate to take over from Manchester United is now the England manager. So the options that we have now are even less than they were a week ago. So I'm not in this whole narrative of let's talk about sacking the manager anymore. I just think it's a bit, it's clearly not going to happen, is it? We lost 3-0 to Tottenham at home and they didn't sack him. So if you want him sacked, then that's up to you. But I feel like you're it's unnecessary negative energy, I think, at the moment. Ineos clearly aren't going to sack him at the moment. And I think when you look at the next kind of fixtures, then we could go on a bit of a run. You know, a good win against Fenerbahce, the mood would be up here again, wouldn't it? So, yeah. Like, there's no replacement manager waiting to take the job. People say Ruud van Nistelrooy. I'm sick of talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy. Like, I don't understand the hype. I just don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. If he, I say this is my example every single time. If he used to play for Arsenal and he'd gone and managed 50 games, which he has, people would be like, why would you want Ruud van Nistelrooy? Like, it's just clinging on to this nostalgia of, oh, he was an ex-Manchester United player, blah, blah, blah. Like, that was, 10, 15 years ago? Like, I don't know. I want the best in the world, and Ruud van Nistelrooy isn't the best in the world. He's not any better than Erik ten Hag. But anyway, let's leave it there. I'm going to wrap up the video. Thank you very much for joining me on the show today. Please make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll speak to you all on the next one. Bye for now.